Well, good morning. We're back on the Facebook channel, which is really, really good to see. We've had a ban for the last few months, and it's good to see that we can access back to our audience with live stream yet again. The reason why we're here this morning is to talk slightly in a promotional way about this new Windsor betrayal deal. And what is the Windsor framework? The Windsor framework is a repackaged backstop deal, Brexit deal. That's Brexit stop deal from Theresa May. And what Boris Johnson done was he took it on and he rejigged a few things within the backstop deal, and he said that he had an oven-ready deal. And then now that Unionists trailed the DUP kicking and screaming to complain, excuse me, the people, sorry about that, the people took the DUP kicking and screaming to complain about the protocol. Well, it now transpires that there's a new deal in place, and that new deal in place would be this so-called Windsor, and I'm going to call it a betrayal deal. So from the backstop to the protocol to the Windsor betrayal deal. And here's the problem, people, is that, well, as Boris Johnson would have said, that he had an oven-ready deal. And I believe in the past few days, both Rishi Sunak and this morning on the Radio Ulster, Chris Heaton-Harris has actually overcooked this deal. And the thing is that no self-respecting unionist could actually accept this deal in its present form. And in fact, it doesn't take a child could see this for what it is. It is the betrayal of Northern Ireland from within the United Kingdom. It is the giving power to, in terms of law, in terms of trade, to the EU to give them the complete trading circumstances from within Northern Ireland, separating Northern Ireland from England, Scotland and Wales, putting a green lane for goods to be checked coming to Northern Ireland at Larne, at Belfast and Warrenpoint, and a red lane conceded by the DUP, actually, quite some time ago. And we're going to show you this here, is that who do I blame for this deal being in place? Well, I believe that it was the DUP who has conceded certain things over a period of time. And we're going to come back and we're going to do a large stream and show exactly where that it is that they conceded certain things throughout this entire process, which has culminated in this Windsor betrayal deal. Now, the one question that we have that everyone should have on their mind is that, was this intentional? Was Jeffrey Donaldson working in the national interest, the so-called national interest, and not in the interest of the United Kingdom, and not in the interest of the people of Northern Ireland? That's a real question. So what I want to do is I want to play a short video, and I want to remind people of Jeffrey before that he got the MLAs elected to the Stormont Assembly just last year, when he was around this country promising people that he would do certain things if they were to place their trust in the DUP. Let's just remind people of Jeffrey's escapades in terms of, I'm going to say, from protest on the protocol rally stages to power whenever they got elected, to pandering. And I believe that that's what you actually see today. You see the pandering from the DUP, the turning a blind eye to certain things that is happening from within our country, from the leadership of the DUP. And I believe it is the weak-willed nature of the DUP hierarchy which has landed us exactly where we are today.
To stand together, united in our determination that the protocol must go and our democratic rights as British citizens should be fully restored. Thank you.
I want to be clear to the House that this is not about scrapping the protocol. Our aim is to deliver on the protocol's objectives.
The statement today is a welcome, if overdue, step. That is a significant move towards addressing the problems created by the protocol and getting power sharing based upon a cross-community consensus up and running again.
Our aim is to deliver on the protocol's objectives. That this is not about scrapping the protocol.
So our aim is about working within the protocol, delivering on the protocol objectives. It is not about scrapping the protocol. Let's just play that again. And let me superimpose myself alongside this so that we can show people that, you see, this is the type of weak-willed language which was indicating to the British government that the DUP were prepared to accept certain things that were not conducive to delivering Northern Ireland back to being full members of the United Kingdom, reinstating the Act of the Union as it should be to provide for trading circumstances and citizens' rights around the entire United Kingdom, putting Northern Ireland, the electorate in Northern Ireland, back into the position whereby they were on an equal footing with people in England, Scotland and Wales. So if the protocol's there, if the Windsor betrayal is there, if the backstop were there, well, this can't happen. The Act of the Union has been subjugated. Citizens' rights has been removed. You're not on an equal footing. You have the dictation of the EU in terms of trade circumstances and trade arrangements from within the United Kingdom. Let's face it, the EU has said that we require a border not to be on the border between Northern Ireland and the Irish Republic, and we require that border to be placed at Larne, at Belfast and at Warrenpoint, separating Northern Ireland from the rest of the United Kingdom, taking away our rights as British citizens to be on an equal footing with the people in England and Scotland and Wales. And I believe that it was the DUP leadership who capitulated to this a very, very long time ago. Let me show you why.
To stand together, united in our determination that the protocol must go and our democratic rights as British citizens should be fully restored.
So we have Jeffrey here, and we have Jeffrey saying that the protocol must go and the democratic rights of the people of Northern Ireland should be fully restored. You see, that's how he got your vote. That's how that they swindled you to get your vote, by standing strong. The protocol must go. Then what he did was he got to the Great Hall of Stormont after getting elected, and he said, we need to deal with the issues around the protocol. What happened to the protocol must go? What happened? You see, it is this very language which showed how weak that these so-called leaders were, and which encouraged the British government to put in place another betrayal deal. What did Jeffrey Donaldson accept whenever Liz Truss would have delivered the terms of the protocol bill, which in the protocol bill, let's remember, was an EU customs and regulatory border slap bang in the middle of the United Kingdom, placed at Larne, at Belfast and Warrenpoint, giving the EU the governance over the trade of the entire Northern Ireland, separating Northern Ireland from England, Scotland and Wales. Let's see what Jeffrey said whenever the detail of the protocol bill was being delivered by Liz Truss. And when Liz Truss states specifically that what this is about, working within the protocol, this is about delivering on the premise of the protocol. And that's listen to Jeffrey, and that's listen to what he accepted, to what he conceded. Well, halfway through last year, was it? Let's play on.
Thank you.
I want to be clear to the House that this is not about scrapping the protocol.
Listen very carefully. This is not about scrapping the protocol.
Our aim is to deliver on the protocol's objectives.
Our aim is to deliver on the protocol's objectives. Let me explain something. If the protocol is in place, the Act of the Union has been subjugated. The principle of consent contained within the Belfast Agreement, specifically the Northern Ireland Act 1998 in Article 1, well, that has been removed from the entire equation, and yet that was the promise that was made to every single unionist in Northern Ireland, that there could be no constitutional change in Northern Ireland without a vote being put to the people, without the people agreeing to it. But here we learned at the Supreme Court that the British government have the right to change the rules whatever they want when it goes against unionism, and we see that our leaders, well, they are accepting of it. Jeffrey Donaldson's silence speaks volumes right now, in where that he won't come out and he won't say that he doesn't accept this Windsor betrayal deal, encouraging other unionists to think, well, maybe this is okay, encouraging other unionists to be subjected to the spin, the swindle, and the fudge, and the false promises made by Rishi Sunak a few days ago. Let's play on.
The statement today is a welcome, if overdue, step. That is a significant move towards addressing the problems created by the protocol and getting power sharing based upon a cross-community consensus up and running again.
Now, before we go on, let me explain something. Just a few days ago on BBC Radio Talkback, we had Gavin Robinson conceding the fact that he was happy for EU to be governing trade circumstances and trade arrangements here in Northern Ireland with a green channel at Larne, at Belfast, and at Warrenpoint with a red channel for goods. That is an EU customs and regulatory border. That is the EU dictating to the people of the United Kingdom that you have to have a border slap bang in the middle of the United Kingdom, separating Northern Ireland from England, Scotland and Wales. And yet there is no border. There is no customs and regulatory border where the border should be on the Irish Republic border between Northern Ireland. And the DUP have conceded this a very long time ago. Now, if I'm wrong, why doesn't the DUP come to Restore UK, debate me on these issues? And, well, if I'm wrong, make me look stupid, please. But of course you can't, because you have conceded the border in the Irish Sea. You have changed your promises to the people, to the electorate in Northern Ireland, in that you said, Jeffrey Donaldson, that the protocol must go, the democratic right of the people must be fully restored. And then when you get elected, you change your words to, we need to deal with the issues around the protocol. You're not a leader. You are working for Westminster. You're part of the establishment. It certainly looks that way. Unless, of course, that you come out and you change your tune and you start standing up for the things that you should be standing up for. Let's play on for a second. So he's now saying that, let's take that back a little bit. Do we hear exactly what he said? So Liz Truss had said that the protocol is staying. This is about working within the protocol. This is about delivering on the premise of the protocol. And Jeffrey says, listen very carefully.
Actives.
The statement today is a welcome, if overdue, step. That is a significant move towards addressing the problems created by the protocol and getting power sharing based upon a cross-community consensus up and running again.
Our aim is to deliver on the protocol's objectives, that this is not about scrapping the protocol.
So let's just remove that and let's talk on. So Liz Truss says it's about delivering on the protocol's objectives, and Jeffrey Donaldson said that, well, that's a welcome statement and that forms the basis by which that we could get power sharing up and running again. You see that it is those words, it is those signals, it is the conceding of Northern Ireland's place within the United Kingdom, it is the conceding of a border in the North Channel, the Irish Sea, at Larne, at Belfast and Warrenpoint. It is the conceding of that incrementally from the protocol came into being. It is the conceding of Northern Ireland's place within the United Kingdom by the DUP leadership that has landed us exactly where we are today. Make no mistake, the DUP are selling you out. The Jeffrey Donaldsons of this world is minded to look after Jeffrey Donaldson, to keep his Queen's Privy Councillor job or his King's Privy Councillor job. Sir Jeffrey Donaldson, well, lead this army off the field. We'll increase your land, we'll increase your wealth, and we'll give you titles. Jeffrey's not my leader. Jeffrey is no leader of British unionism here in Northern Ireland. Jeffrey Donaldson is a weasel. Let's remind ourselves of Jeffrey Donaldson and the things that he would have said as time has went on.
Look, if we have passport controls in Liverpool, does that matter to me? Absolutely not. The things that matter to me are so much more important than this silly debate about whether we'll have the odd border post or passport checks.
And when it comes to peace building, sometimes leaders have to push the boundaries.
Look, if we have passport...
Do you get the picture? Let's go on with something else.
Well, in the end, customs checks doesn't mean that you change the constitutional status of a part of the United Kingdom. That's not going to happen. Already we're seeing the political parties and business leaders coming together to see how we actually exploit the opportunities that may arise from this situation, not only to ensure we have full access to the UK market, but we've also got access to the EU market.
Are you getting the picture? Let's exploit the benefits of the protocol. Let me explain what a protocol is. A protocol is a border in the Irish Sea. A protocol is an EU customs and regulatory border which impedes the constitutional integrity of the entire United Kingdom. And there you go. There was Jeffrey accepting it, conceding it. Let's listen to Arlene Foster for a moment here, just to be sure that, well, Jeffrey is wrong. Jeffrey is selling you out. Jeffrey has consistently been trying to move you to the point where we are at today, in where that, well, we have now a Windsor betrayal.
Willing to accept any checks across the North Sea, even if they are of a regulatory nature, not customs checks?
No, and it's been very clear all along. That has been our one red line, that we cannot have either a customs border down the Irish Sea or a regulatory border, because that would make us separate from the rest of the United Kingdom. And that doesn't work from a constitutional perspective, and it doesn't work from an economic perspective either.
What if there was some political declaration that, OK, we have to agree to the possibility of checks, but they'll never be used? There's no way that they can add some language that would make you happy with any kind of extra checks?
No, because, of course, that would impede the constitutional integrity of the United Kingdom.
Customs and regulatory checks, EU-inspired customs and regulatory checks, EU-dictated border in the Irish Sea, separating people from Northern Ireland, from England, Scotland and Wales, taking away our right, our absolute right from within Article 6 of the Act of the Union to be on an equal footing with the rest of the United Kingdom, with the citizens of the United Kingdom, and yet the DUP under Jeffrey Donaldson's leadership has conceded that, all of that. We're going to play us out here with a reminder of some of the things that Jeffrey would have said on the time frame in where that he is talking one thing to British Unionists here in Northern Ireland, and he's doing the complete opposite with his pals in Westminster and for his own personal selfish gain. Not to serve and protect British Unionists here in Northern Ireland, not to fight meaningfully and proactively in a way that would defend, protect and enhance Northern Ireland and by extension the entire United Kingdom. Jeffrey is happy to roll and to forfeit your place from within the United Kingdom. Let's remind ourselves of the things that Jeffrey would have been saying throughout the last couple of years since that the protocol came into being. This is only a short promo for something that we're going to do, that we're going to put together, from protest to power to pandering to selling Northern Ireland out. And the main focus of this short documentary that we'll be doing will be Jeffrey Donaldson and the people at the top of the DUP who are happy to roll in order that they would be looked after nicely, thank you. And Northern Ireland will have lost its place within the United Kingdom. Make no mistake, you are in the waiting room to this so-called New Ireland. Your trade laws right now is governed from the EU and dictated from the EU. They have taken away our competitive edge. They have taken away Northern Ireland's unique selling point in order to forge its way with the United Kingdom and the rest of the world. We are under the complete governance for trade from the EU dictatorial Ponzi scheme. Here we go, playing us out with Jeffrey Donaldson and some things that some DUP members would have said with reference when the DUP whipped their MLAs to accept rules from the EU to breathe life into this protocol. I'll come back very soon over the next couple of days, and we'll talk some more about this very subject. Not in my name, Jeffrey Donaldson.
Look, if we have passport controls in Liverpool, does that matter to me? Absolutely not. The things that matter to me are so much more important than this silly debate about whether we'll have the odd border post or passport checks.
You know, the greatest challenge that we face is bringing our own people with us, making peace with your friends.
Any man who is not with us is against us. When is a unionist not a unionist? When he creates disunion.
Well, in the end, customs checks doesn't mean that you change the constitutional status of a part of the United Kingdom.
This is the most momentous election that we have ever had to face. We must elect those who would fight for the Union, not those who would oppose it.
Already we're seeing the political parties and business leaders coming together to see how we actually exploit the opportunities that may arise from this situation.
Any man who is not with us is against us.
And when it comes to peace building, sometimes leaders have to push the boundaries to see how we actually exploit the opportunities that may arise from this situation.
Any man who is not with us is against us.
The Northern Ireland Assembly is the place where every element of our society is represented. Such partnership is how we must move forward. And when it comes to peace building, sometimes leaders have to push the boundaries.
When is a unionist not a unionist? When he creates disunion.
The sheet of paper you were given didn't show you all these different regulations on them, so it didn't even mention how many regulations there were. And when I queried that, I asked one of the DUP spads because I knew it had something to do with it, and I was given this assurance that it was keeping us in line with the rest of the United Kingdom. And there was absolutely nothing to worry about.
And when it comes to peace building, sometimes leaders have to push the boundaries.
I trusted what I was told, and I made a mistake. And that's how it was sold to me, and I can only apologise.
The Northern Ireland Assembly is the place where every element of our society is represented. And when it comes to peace building, sometimes leaders have to push the boundaries. In August 2016, within weeks of the EU referendum, my party leader, Arlene Foster, penned a letter jointly with the then Deputy First Minister, Martin McGuinness. That letter was written to the UK Prime Minister, Theresa May. And it's worth quoting, I think, from this letter. This region is unique in that it is the only part of the UK which has a land border with an EU member state. There have been difficult issues relating to the border throughout our history and the peace process. We therefore appreciate your stated determination that the border will not become an impediment to the movement of people, goods and services.
Any man who is not with us is against us.
It was pragmatic and constructive. As then First Minister and Deputy First Minister, these two leaders were writing in the same spirit of mutual respect and common sense, which enabled my party and Sinn Féin to reach agreement at St Andrews and subsequently to establish a power-sharing government.
We must elect those who will fight for the Union, not those who would oppose it.
And therefore, making peace with your enemies is important, but it can only be successful if you make peace with your friends. Thank you.